Convicted before dawn, Blackridge, England true story. Content warning. This story contains descriptions of violence, wrongful conviction, and psychological trauma. Listener discretion is advised. This is a story about a man who didn't kill anyone, in a town that decided he had to die anyway. It happened in Blackridge, England, a small town where people smile when they pass you on the street and remember everything you've ever done wrong, or everything they think you have. The body was found just before sunrise when a delivery driver cutting to the back road near the old slaughterhouse noticed something dark in the mud. At first, he thought it was a dumped animal, which wasn't unusual for the area, until he saw the hair. The young woman was lying face down, half submerged in wet earth. Her skull split open as if struck with something heavy. Blood and rain had mixed into a thick paste around her head. Her throat had been cut so deeply her head was barely attached to her body. One shoe was missing. Her fingers were broken, not snapped clean but crushed and bent backward, like someone had stood on her hands to keep her from moving. By the time police arrived, the sky was turning gray and the town of Blackridge was already waking up angry. Small towns don't wait for answers. They look for someone who fits. Within hours, a name spread from house to house, shop to shop, pub to pub. Thomas Hale. Thomas lived alone in a small rented unit near the factory. He didn't drink at the pub, didn't talk much, walked with his head down, the kind of man people notice without ever really knowing. Someone said they saw him near the slaughterhouse that night. Someone else said they heard shouting from that direction. No one agreed on the time or the words, but they all agreed it must have been Thomas. Police brought him in before noon. He didn't resist. He had scratches on his arms from lifting scrap metal at the factory and mud on his boots from walking home in the rain. To the officers, that was enough. They sat him under bright lights, asked the same questions again and again, denied him sleep. When he cried, they wrote unstable. When he denied it, they wrote defensive. When he asked for a lawyer, they told him it would make him look worse. Then they showed him the photos, not one or two but all of them, close-ups of her crushed face, her swollen tongue, blood pooled beneath her jaw. Thomas turned pale, gagged, vomited across the table, and the officers looked at each other and wrote reaction consistent with guilt. The trial began less than a month later and lasted 4 days. The murder weapon was never found. No DNA matched Thomas. Witness statements contradicted each other. But the jury saw the photos, saw Thomas's shaking hands, heard how quiet he was, how he lived alone, and listened to fear in the town's voice. The verdict came back before sunset. Guilty. Thomas screamed when they read it. Not yelled, but screamed. The sound someone makes when something inside them finally breaks. Prison didn't care about innocence. It cared about rumors. Word spread fast that he was a man who killed a young woman, who cut her throat, who crushed her fingers. The first beating came within weeks. Socks filled with padlocks, blows to the ribs, kicks to the head. One eye swelled shut and never healed properly. Thomas stopped reporting it. The guards didn't hide their opinions. Shouldn't have killed her, they said. He lasted 3 years. 3 years of fear, pain, and screaming nightmares that woke no one. They found him hanging in his cell during early rounds. His neck bent wrong, his feet still twitching when the guard unlocked the door. His fingers were bloody, nails torn back from trying to undo the knot. He died alone, convicted of a crime he didn't commit. 6 months later, another man was arrested in a nearby county. He didn't fight. He confessed to multiple murders. When detectives asked about Blackridge, he smiled and described details never released to the public. The missing shoe, the broken fingers, the way the blade slipped the first time before cutting deeper. The room went silent. The case was reopened quietly. An apology was issued to Thomas Hale's family, a short, carefully worded letter. No one went to prison for what happened to him. The slaughterhouse stands abandoned now. Windows smashed, Metal doors rusted shut, dark stains still visible where blood once soaked into the concrete. Locals say the place feels wrong after dark. Some claim they hear footsteps dragging through mud. Others say they hear crying, not loud, not angry, just confused, like someone still asking why.